Ocean acidification is the process of the water interacting with CO2, which drives the pH downwards, making it more acidic. Blue carbon is a term that's applied to coastal vegetation, and these coastal vegetation ecosystems like salt marshes and mangroves and seagrasses are extremely efficient at burying carbon and removing it from the ocean, and then it stays preserved because they have low amounts of decomposition, so it's a very unique environment. The carbon is being sequestered, which is basically another word for buried and captured into the sediments of these seagrass ecosystems, and in the long term, seagrasses and other types of blue carbon are able to bury that carbon deep down in the sediments, and it's preserved for hundreds and thousands of years. But on the short term, these seagrasses are photosynthesizing daily and removing CO2 from the water, and that could preserve these carbonate sediments or preserve these carbonate shells that maybe critters are developing. So my big research question is to determine the extent to which seagrasses in Tamales and Bodega Bay sequester carbon both inorganically and organically, to potentially see if seagrasses as blue carbon are in some ways buffering the effects of ocean acidification, and that would be represented then in their burial of the organic matter and the carbonate sediments. What we'll do is we'll take cores in Bodega Bay and Tamales Bay, both inside the seagrasses and outside the seagrass beds. That way we can compare between the two. And from these cores we'll take subsamples and we'll analyze them for organic matter and carbonate content, and we'll also identify the microfossils. I hypothesize that seagrass beds will sequester more carbon inside than outside the seagrass beds. So the way that would look is we would see a larger amount of organic material and carbonate material inside the seagrass beds as opposed to outside the seagrass beds in normal sediment, sandy mud bottom. There are a lot of other factors that go on to this carbon burial and the measurements that we're getting, but I would say at this point I do believe that they bury more carbon. This sort of research is super important to this area in particular because a lot of seagrass research has been done in the Atlantic and in the Gulf and in the Mediterranean and Australia, but there's not much research on the whole Pacific coast from North America down to the southern tip of South America. So we're really excited to be doing the work we're doing.